Alright guys, welcome back to the channel. So I want to start this video by asking you a quick question. Do you find when you're at the gym and you're hitting your regular exercises that you normally do in your routine, that when you come back to the real world and you want to put that into practice, say moving a table, moving boxes, you find that you almost lack the strength even though you're working out every day, you know, you're eating right, everything? Well, I'm here to tell you it's because you're lacking functional strength training. Now, what is functional strength training? It's basically essentially what I just said. It's improving in day-to-day activity strength. So for example, your balance, your coordination, the ability to move odd-shaped objects. And well, today I'm gonna explain how to actually improve your functional training. Now, just like last week, we've got our board here. First, I wanna go over the three main categories of exercises that you need to work on in order to improve functional strength. First, you have compound, you have flexibility, and you have CrossFit. Cool. So let's start with compound. Essentially in compound exercises, you're doing specific exercises that target more than one or two muscle groups. So an example could be deadlifts, barbell squats, bench press. How do you actually identify if an exercise is a compound one? Well, essentially you just ask yourself, what muscles is it targeting? What does it feel like it's targeting? So in the case of a squat, you've got your quadriceps working, you've got your glutes working, you've got your delts working. Again, multiple muscles. That's how you identify if it's a compound exercise. So start to implement that. Secondly, we have flexibility exercises. So these are basically dynamic stretches of sorts. Essentially your joints, if you've lived like a sedentary lifestyle, or even if you haven't really done flexibility exercises, your joints' range of motion is essentially limited from their full potential. So by doing dynamic exercises, such as, for example, lunges with a spinal twist, or raising your arms up and then touching your toes up and down, these are dynamic exercises which can help really almost release the joints, if that makes sense, and help them increase their range of motion. And then finally, we have CrossFit. Good thing with CrossFit is that it's basically a combination of strength, endurance, so on and so forth. With CrossFit, you can implement activities such as kettlebell swings, battle ropes, med ball slams. These all together collectively help to improve your functional strength. I want to keep this video short, so I'm just going to wrap up with one last thing. Now, this last thing I want to wrap up with is basically a very large-scale myth when it comes to improving functional strength training. So I'll just draw this as like a visual explanation for you guys. This is just your average Joe, right? Going to the gym. The myth is that if you're doing, say, bicep curls, say if you're doing a leg press, you think because, you know, you're working out, you know, you're doing resistance exercises, you're gonna get stronger in day-to-day activities. See, that's not the case, because in a lot of non-compound exercises, they are essentially isolation exercises. So when you do bicep curls, for example, that's the only muscle you're really targeting. Yes, you have your agonist and your antagonist, which are basically opposing muscles, and essentially they are still being used. In totality, the majority of that exercise is to isolate the bicep and only improve that. And if you think about it, in day-to-day activities such as lifting something up, you are essentially utilizing more than 1, 2, or even 5 muscles. So that's why I keep stressing the importance of compound exercises. Now, over here, we have not average Joe, we have Alpha Joe. Alpha Joe decides to do compound exercises. And now as a result of him doing deadlifts, doing bench presses, doing kettlebell swings, doing exercises that work the whole body, he's improving his biceps, he's improving his quads, his pectoral muscles. He's just overall getting into better shape, but more importantly, improving his functional strength. So if you really want to improve your day-to-day coordination, mobility, so on and so forth, really focus on compound, flexibility, and CrossFit exercises. All right guys, now I appreciate you watching this video. Again, apologies for keeping it short, but I think if you guys have any questions, you can DM me on Instagram or drop a comment and I'm happy to answer those. Also, with the drop of this video, I've got that workout plan that I mentioned last week. So just click that link. There's a little link there that essentially will guide you to the workout plan. What that workout plan targets is basically just trying to get into a better physique. I've also got a bit of diet info in there too. So keep that in mind. If you want tailored advice towards your situation, feel free to go on my Instagram and click the learn more button, and you can fill out some details there and I'll get back to you with a tailored program that we can implement. And with that, my name's been Archie. I appreciate it. See you guys next time.